I first heard of Balatro from an old homeless man on the street who was whispering about it to himself. I asked him, hey, what's your deal, man? Because I was concerned. He looked like he was sick or something, you know? Anyways, all this guy would talk about was Steel Kings and Jimbos and Spectra Packs in the soul. It didn't make much sense to me. I questioned further, and he grabbed my arm super hard and said, Balatro. And his eyes went black like a CRT screen. So I just went, well, that was weird. My arm kind of hurts. And then I went home to look it up, because if there's one person I trust the game suggestions of, it's that poor old dead man on the street who I assume drove himself to madness and obsession. Hello, I am Goose, and welcome to How I Feel About, the series where I tell you my thoughts on what I bought. Now, if you haven't played Balatro already, are you stupid? For those who have been living under a rock for the better half of 2024, or if you're more on the Hello Kitty Island Adventure side of gaming, then Balatro is a roguelike gambling game that's been getting people hooked like real gambling. Created by the one-man team Local Funk, Balatro is the type of addictive that the news stations in the early 2000s warned you that video games were like. Seriously, the first day I downloaded this game, which I did around 6 or 7 p.m., I played until 4 in the morning. I have 158 hours in Balatro as I'm writing this script, and now, as I'm recording this, I have over 200 hours in Balatro, and it's probably going to be even more once I upload this video, because it's 90% of what's distracting me from actually working on videos. Aside from, trying to find a job, worrying about bills in my new apartment, lying on my bed and being in agony. You know the drill. But genuinely, there's nothing really here to complain about. The majority of this video is going to be me glazing Balatro. So, enough babbling, let's just get right into it, okay? Here's how I feel about Balatro. Now, I mentioned at the start of the video how I first heard of Balatro, but when I wanted to learn more, I called one of my friends in a Discord call, and it sort of went like this. Hey, Botan, have you ever heard of Balatro?
Dude, what the fuck are you talking about? It's too early for this. I just woke up, man.
What? You just woke up?
Yeah.
Bro, it's like 3 in the afternoon. What the fuck are you doing sleeping all day?
Hey, shut up, man, alright? I live my life how I want.
Hey, man, I'm just worried about you, bro. You gotta stay up. You gotta be awake for more than 3 hours of the day, you fucking sloth.
Hey, shut your fucking mouth.
Whoa. Who said you could raise your voice to me like that, bro? I'm a big YouTube big shot.
You're being a real
you can't talk to me. Hey, no, you can't talk to me like that. You know who I am? I'm the goddamn Amigos, pal. Hey, fuck you, pal. You can't talk to me. Hey, what's your problem? Hey, you're being a real dickbag right now. Oh, I hate you so much. Oh my god, fuck off. And we don't really talk anymore. I don't think we're friends anymore, but that's besides the point. I ended up asking somebody else, and they told me, you need to play Balatro now. And so here I am. The first thing that happens when you open up this game is something I can only describe as, actually, I can't describe it. Just watch it. This was the moment when my eyes dilated. Then the song starts. Not the main theme, the Balatro's song. We'll get into that later. First, the game. The game is reminiscent of poker in the way that there is a deck of cards and there are poker hands, and that's really it. In all seriousness, the whole point of the game is to get a high score, like the Donkey Konga. Each card grants you some chips, and certain poker hands, like the straight and the full house and what have you, add molt, short for multicellular, or molt for short. You multiply the chips by the molt, and you get your score for the hand. And hey, if you don't know anything about poker, that's okay, you little baby bitch. You can click on the Run Info button in the far left-hand side and look at what cards constitute each poker hand. It could not be easier to learn. And I think that the ease of access to knowledge and the simplicity of the game is what caused it to get so popular in the first place. Like the Donkey Konga. The game revolves around trying to reap the highest score every round. beating each, quote, ante, which is basically just the levels of the game. Every ante has 2 regular levels, which they call blinds, and a boss blind, which has a higher score requirement and a random inhibitor, like not being able to play face cards or cards of a certain suit being debuffed, stuff like that. There are also different ways to modify the standard gameplay experience, such as different decks you can use, like ones that let you get money faster, or ones that give you more discard opportunities to get a better poker hand. Special magical cards that add things to your pre-existing deck to make them even more powerful. I might explain those later. I don't know. It'd be more fun if you saw them for yourself. Or challenge runs, which limit certain aspects of the game to get you to use that cobweb-ridden brain to win with your mind. On top of that, there are also different difficulties for the game. I'll get to those later. In any case, very simple game. Almost like a child's game. Like the Donkey Kong, but none of that really matters, honestly. What really makes Balatro crazy is the Jokers. The Jokers are, mostly, extremely powerful modifiers that you can collect throughout your run. Certain Jokers will grant more chips if you play certain hands, some Jokers will add molt if you play a specific suit of cards, and some Jokers will multiply your molt. That's when shit gets really crazy. Some of them do really ridiculous shit, like changing all of your cards into face cards, or re-triggering cards to give you twice as much score from them as you normally would, and even ones that give you huge boosts but only last for a limited amount of time. There are 150 Jokers total. That's like 1 Joker for every Pokemon in the first generation, which is, kinda crazy. And some are more rare than others, so if you see the basic bitch lame ones all the time, don't get mad at me. That's just how the game works. Now, where, you may ask, can I find these jonglers I speak of? In the shop, of course. After every round, you go to the shop and are able to pick between some Jokers. A voucher or 2, which are like long-term modifiers that are less important to my ramblings, so go play the game for yourself and learn about them. And, the booster packs. Archibald, the chalkboard, please. Thank you. There are 5 breeds of booster packs. The card packs, which are pretty self-explanatory, you can add new cards to your deck. The Joker packs, also self-explanatory. The planet packs, which, I forgot to explain those. They let you choose a planet card. Each one increases the score you earn from a specific poker hand by 1 level. There are also Arcana packs. Well, I guess I didn't explain tarot cards either. You can get tarot cards from Arcana packs, and those do really crazy stuff, like letting you turn cards into other cards, or enhancing cards with special abilities like gold or stone to do even more wacky stuff. I don't want to explain it too much, because it's more fun to just experiment for yourself. That's probably one of the most fun parts of Balatro, is learning this stuff in real time. That stuff is amazing. And finally, there's the Spectral Packs. This is the rarer of the booster packs, and it makes sense why, because these things are very powerful, very high risk, high reward. The game consists of going from ante to ante, picking up Jokers to buff yourself up, and hopefully, if you're lucky or skilled enough, making it all the way to ante 8, which is technically where you win, quote-unquote, but it only means that you get a credit for a victory. The real craziness starts in Endless Mode. It's really hard, actually. The amount of chips you need to score ramps up so fast, it can get real panicky real quick once you start getting into 7 or 8-digit score requirements. Most people can beat ante 8, but it takes someone with some real knowledge of the game to get to ante 16 or higher. Or you could just get really lucky. Also unrelated but a neat fact is every run is seeded, so you can copy the seed, post it into this little box before you start a run, and you'll get the exact same run. You can even use different decks or different difficulties to modify the same game a little bit. All in all, the most entertainment I've gotten from this game is learning what all the Jokers do, and creating super fun Joker synergies to make the most ridiculously high number I can think of. And that gameplay loop has somehow not gotten old after all this time, so again, props to Local Funk for concocting this masterpiece all on his own. Crazy that someone can just make a game. That's crazy to me. There's one more aspect of Balatro I'd like to praise that I think gives it a leg up on a lot of roguelikes out there. At least the ones I've played, which is like a couple, probably. Anyways, during those roguelikes, I would always sort of default to one specific loadout whenever I could find it. I hardly ever deviated from it because there was no reason to. It was always pretty easy to get those loadouts, and they always yielded good results. but Balatro is quite different in that regard, for a few reasons. Firstly, you're never guaranteed to get the jokers you need for your dream loadout. Each joker has a set rarity, like I stated earlier, so most of the strongest jokers aren't just going to fall into your lap. The only thing stopping you from getting the jokers you need is money and luck, because each reroll changes the items in the shop, and due to the fact that Planet and Tarot cards can appear in the shop in place of jokers, your chances of finding your perfect loadout are much more slim than you might initially think. So, your options are A. Be stubborn and wait out a shitty run to get the joker you want, and then try and salvage the run when you end up finding it, or B. The much cooler option, use what's given to you. Explore the different avenues all of the 150 jokers can bring you, and how effective each unique combination is. There are millions of different combinations of jokers you can have in Balatro, so mess around with some weird ones. You never know what you might get, and it'll be more fun to experiment. The other major factor preventing you from railroading into one specific playstyle is the boss blinds. A lot of the times when I'm playing this game, it'll really feel like a rake in the face when I get to a boss blind, because half the time it feels like the game is directly countering the strategy that I've been using for the majority of that run up until that point. Let's say you want to use some loadout. Let me think of one. Oh, here's one that I got while I was recording gameplay for this video. The left joker gives me Molt for every card in the diamond suit, and the right joker makes it so that cards in the heart suit trigger the left joker as well as diamond cards. So basically half of my deck is giving me Molt. Sounds like a pretty good deal, right? Well, be careful, because these jokers can be a blessing and a curse depending on what the boss blind is. In this example, it's the Head, a boss blind that debuffs all heart cards, but because of our rightmost friend, that means heart cards and diamond cards are debuffed. So our only way of earning chips up to this point is now gone. So you could sell the smeared joker and probably clear this blind with ease, but then that means no more smeared joker, which makes flushes way easier. The boss blinds really dictate what jokers you find yourself using, since you can see them like 2 rounds ahead of time. And getting a bad boss blind can be what we call in the business a run killer. And I don't mind it one bit. As frustrating as it can be, it's just a really smart way to get people to do different things with each run instead of having people just pick the best strategy and never deviate from it. If I made 150 different things for people to use, I would want to make an excuse for people to have to use them. And this was a pretty intelligent way to do it. Now, this all sounds fine and dandy. That's because, it is. The only aspects I can think of that are a real pain are, A, it's a roguelike. A lot of it is heavily luck and repetition based, which I know can annoy and frustrate certain kinds of people, and power to you, different strokes and all that. But I guess that's not really a objective bad thing, so it doesn't really count. The real painful aspect is attempting to fully complete the game. To my knowledge, only 4,000 people have actually 100% Balatro since it released in February of 2024. Just so you know, over 2 million people have actually bought Balatro. So that's about 0.2% of all people that have played Balatro before. Hey, Future Goose here. That percentage has actually gone up from 0.2% to 0.3% in the time it's taken to get this video out. So now, instead of 4,000 people having the Completionist Plus achievement, it's more like 6,000 people. Still not as many as the 2 million plus players, but that fraction of completionists is beginning to rise. Some of you might wonder why I even bothered adding such a small change, especially when the video's inevitably going to become outdated anyways. Well, isn't it obvious? I wanted to get a head start on the Melvins in the comments. They're gonna watch up to this point, come in the comments and type,
"Oh, Goose, the video only just came out, and it's already outdated."
So, this part of the video is for you. You fucking Melvins. Alright, let's continue with the video. For your own sake, I would not recommend trying to 100% this game. It's much more reasonable to just play it naturally and not attempt to do something this insane. But regardless, let me tell you about all the shit you need to do to complete this game. First, there's filling out the collection. There are 150 jokers, 15 decks, 32 vouchers, 22 tarot cards, 12 planet cards, 18 spectral cards, 8 enhancements, 4 seals, 5 editions, 32 booster packs, 24 tags, and 30 different boss blinds, totaling up to a collection of 340 different things to collect and find. At least until the gameplay update in 2025. I have no idea what that's going to add. And fun fact, you can access the collection at any time during gameplay if you're confused about something, which is really handy. But that's only 1/4 of your total progress. There are also the 20 different challenges to complete. Not really the worst part, there's not that many of them, but they can be pretty tough, so it's just something worth mentioning. Then, there's the deck stake wins. Each difficulty is categorized as a stake, as in like the stake of a game, like a poker game. I think there's about like 7 or 8 of them. You have to win a run on every stake, on every deck. So running the math real quick, that's 120 different runs total that you have to beat successfully. Get all the way to ante 8 and everything. If you lose that, you have to start all over. Again, not too bad. Seems pretty reasonable. Anyone just playing the game that's a big fan of it could probably just knock that out over time. Just going through new experiences on each deck on different stakes. So, I mean, it's time consuming, but it's probably possible to do it before you die. But then you go in and add the Joker stickers. When you complete a run with a Joker, it gets a cute little sticker added to it for the stake that you beat, like a white stake or a blue stake or something like that, showing that you've completed that stake with that Joker. So, for 100% achievement, you need to get to ante 8 with every Joker in gold stake and beat it. All 150 Jokers on the hardest difficulty, every single one. Now, you can choose which deck you run, so there's a little more freedom there, but imagine how long that would take. Trying to get even the shitty Jokers to ante 8 on gold stake. I've been playing for about 180 hours so far, and I've only managed to get 2 gold stake runs completed. For a normal player, that'll take ages. Also, it doesn't help that gold stake is like ridiculously hard. It's all of the other stakes put together with a little added thing at the end. It's, oh my god, if you haven't played Balatro or gold stake, just unlock it and give it a shot, because oh my god, it can be so annoying once you've gotten used to the base game. Also, Balatro has like an unlock everything button when you make a new profile. I think it's cool that it has that option if you want to just experiment with new Jokers on a completely different profile and not mess with your progress. All of that aside, this is an insane amount of work to put into this game, which is why, to my knowledge, only about 4,000 people of the 2 million people that have bought Balatro have done it. Again, 0.2%. That's insane! I'll be surprised if more than 25% of people can get all the stickers on Balatro before the heat death of the universe. But then again, 100% of the game is completely optional, so I wouldn't say it dampers the gameplay at all. It's just a big, scary shadow looming over you the entire time you play. Aside from all that, there are a few quality of life things I've mentioned already, like being able to view your full deck and what poker hands require what at any time, and even hovering over a card, having it summarize what buffs and enhancements it has. But I think the biggest quality of life thing is in the actual settings of the game. Speed. There is a game speed toggle that lets you go up to 4 times the normal speed of the game, and I kind of wish they didn't add this, because 4 times speed is now the normal speed of the game to me, and it feels like I can barely look at normal speed Balatro gameplay without feeling like an iPad kid being deprived of his skibbity ban. Wow, I really just put that in one of my videos. It might be time to end the channel, folks. But also, with how repetitive the game is, it's kind of a godsend that you don't have to sit through the same animations at the same slow speed over and over and over and over and over and over. Nah, 5 overs is good. Now, there's a lot I didn't explain here, because anytime I talk about this game, I just want to ramble on forever about all the unique synergies and my favorite strategies and stuff, but I want to save all the cool, interesting stuff for you and your first time playing. Go buy the game and play it. Well, finish this video first, then go buy it and play it for 100 hours, and then come back to the comments and talk to me about Balatro. Also, it'd probably be easier to talk to me in the Discord server. Go to the Discord server, the Hoose of Goose. It's in the description. It's pretty cool. We can talk about Balatro. I love Balatro. No minors, though. Now that gameplay's out of the way, I want to talk about how pretty this game is. Wow! My eyes are very much agreeing! The game's beautiful pixel art style is done by the developer himself, Local Funk. Well, except for one Joker. Lumpy Touch made that one. You probably know him as the Garfield guy. But yeah, that's 149 Jokers that Local Funk sprited himself, all with their own original, beautiful art. Some of them created just to fill a niche and to give a specific power of face, and some actually created with a clever idea in mind for the art. A lot of people still haven't caught on to the pun in the walkie-talkie Joker. But like, every time I think of that number and how much work... 150 Jokers is so much work for the art! And that isn't counting all the other cards, vouchers, tags, seals, and non-gameplay aspects, like all the UI! Again, I am amazed that someone can just make a game and then release it! And apparently he just makes little silly games like this all the time and just never talks about it? Buck wild! Buck wild! Anyways, the way the UI of this game is designed has permanently altered my design philosophy as a graphic designer. It is so sleek and clean. It feels super modern while being really vintage at the same time. More often than not, words fail me, but I'm somehow still able to write scripts that are over 3,000 words. The Enigma of Goose. In any case, a lot of the way I design and draw UI has been altered and inspired heavily by the way this game does it. Basically the same thing that happened when I first played Persona 5. My brain was like, boom. There's also a toggle for the CRT filter in the game, which is a nice touch. I mean, I like it, but it's nice to have the option. And even a card contrast toggle to make all the cards different colors, which I love using. Makes it much easier to tell suits apart from just a quick glance. And hey, this is one of those games that doesn't trap your mouse inside of the window when you full screen it. Thank God! So many games do that, and I hate that shit. Though, I don't know if that's as much of a problem for people with only one monitor. That's just a Goose thing, I guess. There's also a pixel smoothing option. I do not like this option. That is all I will say about it. Now then, for what your ears get to do while you play Balatro. For starters, there's one song. That's it. I've listened to this song for over 200 hours, so tell me how this song still gets stuck in my head and isn't the least bit annoying to me. I'm sensing some sort of witchcraft? Perchance some magic at play. Is Local Funk some sort of wizard? Witch! Get the witch! Okay, so there's technically one song, but there are slight variations depending on what's happening in-game currently. Like when opening booster packs, the sound of the song will change quite drastically. Like, listen to these. And during boss blinds, some heavy drums get added to signify the intensity of the situation. Ooh, very, very spooky scary. As for sound effects, they're all fine and dandy, but the Molt sound is by far one of the greatest sound effects in all of gaming, especially when it ramps up in pitch the higher your score. What a fucking genius Local Funk is for that one, genuinely. I even stole that sound effect to use in my Rocky video. All the other sound effects are easy on the ears, I guess, but the Molt sound effect in particular, that one's my favorite. Now it's time for a little ditty I call Best Part, Worst Part. One of the most self-explanatory sections in these videos, and oddly enough, one of the hardest ones to nail down in my mind. Especially for these kinds of roguelike games. These type of games can often be so repetitive and so many different things can happen in each run that by the time you write down a favorite and least favorite moment, stuff will happen in your next run that trumps those completely. But if I had to scramble to make up a worst part, I would probably have to say grinding gold stake runs without a doubt. They're the highest difficulty mode in the game and oh my god, they're so mind-numbingly agonizing to get through. I have been grinding the game and my teeth to try and beat the gold stake difficulty more than 2 times, and it feels fucking impossible. Maybe I'm bad at the game or something? I don't know. It's a real headache, but I can't stop coming back to this game. It's so fun. As for the best part, it's the same thing that I would put for the best part in almost any roguelike game. Slowly learning the ins and outs of the game mechanics and what everything does and how they synergize, and eventually getting the perfect storm of vouchers, booster packs, and Joker combos to absolutely destroy the final round of the standard mode. And even if you don't get very far in endless mode, you'll be riding the high from the first part all the way to the bank. And that high is exactly why Balatro is so addictive. Before I end this video, I need you all to get into the head of the guy who made this game, Mr. Local Thunk, because he, being a man who enjoys games, did the unthinkable when developing this game. And I quote, "I made this game primarily for myself to enjoy. That has been my North Star in this whole journey, and knowing that I enjoy the game so much makes the critical response less important. However, I do love that this weird game happened to strike a chord with other people that value the same things I do. And man, that is such a healthy philosophy for a team of game developers to have. A one-man team at that. Hell, if I knew how to code, or was planning to take higher education to learn how to code, I would be making games that I would want to play. Double hell, that's what I want to do. I mean, alongside doing YouTube, but I'm kind of already doing that, so it doesn't count. Anyways, the way a person can just up and make something all on their own is a huge motivator for lone creators like myself. Really makes me feel like anything is possible. Like, I could make anything if I wanted, if I really put my mind to it. And getting that amazing, motivating feeling on top of one of the most addictive games I've played in my entire life? All that for $15? That's just a good deal. But alas, I believe that is all I have to say in regards to Balatro. I could probably go on, but I don't want to bum myself out working on an hour-long video, and I don't want to really spoil too much for you, so go play Balatro, please. If I've convinced you to like it, at least. Anyways, one last call for alcohol, friends, because it's closing time. Take a look at this fan art while I plug some stuff, won't you? I've got a Twitter, Instagram, Newgrounds, and TikTok. All of those are going to be in the description. You should also join my Discord server if you want. We've been getting a lot of new people in there recently, so it's quite lively. The link to that is in the description as well. No minors, though. Third, become a headliner. That's what I call channel members because I think it sounds cooler, and it does. You get some cool perks. You can get some cool perks, like a private channel in the Discord server exclusive to headliners, early releases of videos sometimes, polls for what videos will be next, stuff like that. I know it's not really my main form of content, but it's pretty entertaining, to me at least, so maybe if you see me streaming, stop by. Finally, if you'd like to see your fan art of me up here, send it to me on any social medias I listed, or in the Discord server. I'll put it up here, maybe, probably. And, be sure to drink some water. Seriously, you're worrying me, dude. Just a few sips. Baby steps, you know? And with that, it is time for us to part ways for now. My back is killing me, and I think I'm, like, getting some whiskers on my upper lip, like a mustache, kinda? My name is Goose. I thank you very much for watching, and... Wait a second. No way. Oh my god. Oh my god! I was the old man on the street! That was me from the future! I'm in an endless loop!